a campaign to make 485 safer. This comes a few weeks after a tragic crash that killed 6 people on that highway. Again, troopers are stepping up patrol there. And working with local law enforcement. Let's take a listen in. This just popped up on our feed. This is State Highway Patrol speaking on this campaign. Let's take a listen in.
Additional components, and also has components of just being visible, just being a presence out there, because the hope is that it doesn't get to an enforcement level. You know, the goal is that we're seen, that we're present, that we're visible, and that's all it takes for the public to maybe look at their driving habits, look at what they're doing, and to reflect on their own safety and the safety of their passengers and everybody they're sharing the roadway with. So we might call this an enforcement campaign, but there's more to it than that. And you might see us as State Highway Patrol out there and visible, but there's more to just us with this. We have partnered with Charlotte Meck, their police department on this, and also with Mecklenburg Sheriff's Office. They'll be partnering with us on special enforcement days to do specific targeted areas on 485 to do enforcement. We're partnering with our folks at NCDOT. They will be helping us with messaging throughout this. Maybe the message boards that you'll see along the interstate will have some gentle reminders for drivers to be looking at their speed, looking at their driver behavior to see that they're doing the things they can do to keep themselves safe. And we talk about defensive driving, and we were talking about it beforehand here. That's such a huge component to keeping yourself safe when you're operating a vehicle. And maybe we can remind people of some of the stuff they learned many years ago in driver's ed classes of what it takes to be a safe driver and what it takes to keep themselves and their passengers from being in a collision. And this campaign is really a lot about that. Just a reminder, just showcasing what unfortunately happened with this fatal crash, and ensuring that as law enforcement, we're doing everything we can to ensure it doesn't happen again. Our partner law enforcement agencies being a part of that, but you as drivers being a part of that, taking some accountability and responsibility for our own actions, and looking at what we're doing and what is the benefit of that dangerous behavior, which is minimal, that you save yourself a few seconds, versus the consequences of that driving behavior, which can be you're involved in one of these fatal collisions and you've affected your life for years to come, or potentially someone else you're sharing the roadway with. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions specifically about this program, about what we're doing, and what we hope to gain from it. Yes, ma'am.
When we're talking about just overall crashes that you guys are seeing, what would you say are the biggest things that are leading to these crashes in general? And what is the behavior you want folks to stop or, to do or so forth?
Yeah, we don't want to be literally a broken record, but it comes down to speed, comes down to distractions, comes down to the things you can do preventative-wise as far as wearing your seatbelts. Impairment, we've made great strides throughout the years on our impairment statistics. Driving while impaired fatal crashes has gone down traditionally over the last decade. We're making great strides. I think everybody knows when you hear booze it or lose it, they know exactly what that means. And there's a stigma there for somebody who gets caught for driving while impaired. They know there's consequences. They know that there's hefty fines. But are we there yet with issues like distracted driving? Do we have that same stigma related to somebody who causes a fatal crash and they were on their phone? Do we look at that the way, or do we treat it the same way? For the family that's affected, for the life that's lost from a distracted driving fatal crash, the effects are still the same on them. They're feeling it the same way that any other contributing circumstance would have affected their family in a fatal crash. So we're seeing the same things. We know that these fatal crashes are happening because of inattention. We know they're happening because of people's speed and not adhering to the speed limit. We know that the severity of these crashes are only greatened because people aren't wearing seatbelts. These are all the things that we've talked about for years. But when you get in an area like 485, we're taking lots of traffic and squeezing it all together, and coupling with some of these dangerous driving techniques, we know that it just really exacerbates the problem. It really takes the consequences and the ramifications of a bad wreck and just makes them even more, because you have a fatal crash on a 2-lane rural country road, which is where a vast majority of our fatal crashes happen in this state, or on rural roads. And now you put them on an interstate where you're not sharing the road with 1 or 2 people, you're sharing this roadway with a lot of vehicles. Your actions affect not just you and your passengers, but it affects the people you're surrounded around. So like we've seen in that wreck, you know, a side swipe type of crash, you know, that you know, could be a one-person crash where they went off the road into the median, is a three-vehicle crash because 485 is such a well-traveled road and we have a lot of other vehicles. So, yes, sir.
Chris, obviously enforcement's a critical part of this, but how much value do you guys put into those, you know, 5-10 minute interactions when you do pull somebody over, where you do have a chance to chat with them and level with them and maybe share a lesson with them? How much value do you put into just that conversation where you have a chance to give them a lesson?
Yeah, well, you know, we talk about our role with the media. Y'all being here today and showcasing, one, highlighting the just severity of this crash that has happened, but also showing that, you know, we've got a responsibility in law enforcement to do our part, and us as community partners with the media, we have a big part. So y'all being here and showcasing what we're doing, maybe this is a gentle reminder that it doesn't even have to come down to a traffic stop. Maybe it's something that parents can now have this conversation with their teen drivers tonight. Maybe it's trucking companies can have this conversation with their drivers because they're hearing about this and they're seeing that we're going to be out there and that we have this campaign going on. So yes, there is that component when we do a traffic stop, but there are also conversations that we hope will happen around the dinner table. We hope that people will talk about this with their classmates. We hope that businesses will talk about this, about the importance of your safety getting to a job site versus the speed in which you get to a job site. You know, these are all conversations that are important. And ultimately, if we go out there during this campaign and write no tickets, but we have no fatal crashes, it's been a success. If it turns out that we have to write a lot of citations to curb behaviors, then that's what we're going to do. We just don't hope it doesn't get to that, and these conversations are important. So.
First Sergeant, we've all probably seen it. How often is reckless driving or the street racing type of atmosphere something that leads to stuff on 485?
I think that's a big part of it, and we recognize that, and we're looking at that. You know, our office and the Public Information Office for the Highway Patrol, we routinely get emails from around the state of people that feel they have concerns about speeding or driving on their roads, and I can say that one of the most common emails I get is related to the 485 area, that people say, hey, what are you doing about racing? I hear cars in the evening, and that is a part of this. I don't know if some of y'all saw, but recently we had a big initiative that was with us and other law enforcement agencies, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, where we seized a large number of vehicles, some very expensive vehicles, and for us it's not about seizing those cars, but I guarantee we've changed the behavior of those people that were involved in that drag racing campaign. So that is a part of it. Aggressive driving, reckless driving, however you want to phrase it, is a large part of why these collisions are happening, and changing that behavior and reminding people either through enforcement or through this awareness is what we have to do, is to get them back to a point of being a responsible driver, looking at what they're doing and their behaviors are, and hopefully getting them on a different track and realizing the ramifications of what that dangerous and aggressive driving has as far as consequences.
One of the things we get emailed to is like, oh, you know, folks speeding and an issue on, you know, whichever 45 or whatever highway, and they're like, oh, well, where are the troopers? Where is everyone, you know? So where are you guys, or how do you guys say when it comes to staffing and being able to, you know, really enforce these, you know, highly populated areas? I don't know if you have stats on, like, you know, this, how many tickets we're actually giving, and up or down or so forth, but how does staffing work?
Yeah, so as far as like the stats, I'll hit that first. So we're going to hope to update you guys, and I'll be probably posting just our social media channels about throughout this campaign what type of actions we've taken. You know, hopefully we're showing enforcement, but we're also showing that we've had no fatal crashes. So we'll update y'all throughout to show what the numbers look like throughout this campaign. But as far as staffing, we're short as an agency, and I think if you reach out to any law enforcement agency across the state and nation, you're going to get the same answer. I think our most recent allocation put us around 250 short throughout the state. You think there's multiple components to being visible and to being seen, and being short is an important part of that. We take very active steps, our recruiting section, to ensure that we're actively recruiting. We're getting people to apply for this very important position. We know for us to be as effective as possible, we need the people in place. What we can't do is give up on the high standards that we put in place to hire people. Being a law enforcement officer is a very lengthy process. I can go and apply and get a job maybe within this month in a business, but for us, it sometimes takes 8 months to a year to hire the right person. I think the general public appreciates the background process that we go through, the polygraph, all the different lines of checks and balances to ensure we're hiring the right people, but that does have a cost and that it takes long to get somebody on the road. So we recognize that staffing is a huge part of that visibility and that enforcement component. We're working hard to get that where it needs, but once we get full and that hope is there that we're getting the benefits and the pay that attracts the people that qualify to do this job that you're called into, we then have to look at, do we have the numbers of people, even once full, to properly address a given area? So we're looking at that as well. Are we being as effective as we can to hire what we need? But also, next step, do the communities that we're currently serving have the appropriate numbers allocated for them? I would say that Charlotte has changed a lot over the past 10, 15, 20 years, and we've really been about the same level staffing-wise. So would it be helpful to have 50 or even 100 more troopers in Mecklenburg County? I think the people that work here and even the people that drive a vehicle here would say yes, that they would love to see more troopers out there. So how do we balance that? We have to be more creative. We have to, as an agency, possibly for short-term, reallocate members that might be in a special assignment, maybe doing a training, reallocate them into a specific enforcement role in a specific area. There are some projects that we had ongoing within Troop H, which is where this falls for us, and reallocating those Troop H projects to 485, to problem roads that maybe we have seen, an intake and fatal crashes. So we have to be strategic in what we're doing. We have to make sure that our people are in the right places at the right times when our data is showing that we're seeing crashes. But it also might be that we have to be more creative as an agency when we're short, which we are currently.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, cool. So looks like there's 4 of you. So I'm trying to think of a fair way to do this. Does everybody have like a station? Like, is anybody just doesn't mind being fourth? Yeah, I figured. So.
All right, so it looks like that shot dipped out on us, but again, as Trooper Knox was explaining there, the 485 campaign to make it safer, that is a fast highway. If you live here in the Charlotte area, new to the Charlotte area, I'm pretty sure you've been on 485 and you know how fast that highway is. I believe it's 70 miles per hour. And so this campaign, although, Trooper Knox says, hey, that we're going to, increase the number of troopers we have on the road, officers, because they're working with other local law enforcement agencies to patrol, but we also want to educate drivers to be safe. And this comes a few weeks after that tragic crash, killing 6 people there on 485. So yeah, that's that campaign. So be on the lookout for those troopers, not only, saying, hey, you should slow down and be safe, but also, look, if you see a trooper and he might pull you over or she might pull you over, they might just pull you over to educate you, or you might be able to get a chance to learn more about what they're doing. So there is that. We'll have more on that campaign during our midday show. Jesse Pierre is covering that story. Should be live at noon.